Oh, my God. I'm not...
Make yourself comfortable. We're in a different situation tonight. We're in the living room.
I have to say something right off the bat.
We are...
I like having... I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I love the idea of having back support. I don't know why it feels better. It feels better than...
It's a couch instead of a dining room chair.
Right. So why is it...
If you'd like to officially move the podcast into here, we can.
You know what we should do?
It's my house.
Let's open it up. You know what I like about it in here? It feels like it's more... less annoying to anybody else who would be here. In here. Unless who's right above us.
In both rooms, we're under our... large master suite. So.
Oh my God! So either way, it's not gonna. Well, and is it? Do you have an ensuite?
Yes, it's actually OnStar.
No, that's not what you have. OnStar is where you fell and you can't get up.
No, OnStar is when you have a Cadillac and you can't get rid of it.
So is a guy? He's like a rich guy who when you have a problem, he goes, "Hello, Cadillac OnStar. How are you?"
Wasn't that at the OnStar? Yes, I'm right.
And
I don't actually have a Cadillac.
Hello. Well, but you know the thing, right?
No, but it is. Yeah, it's your. It's the concierge in the ceiling of your car.
Well, you remember the days when we didn't have.
Much like life, you can't get comfortable. It seems.
I can't get comfortable because the thing is, you said. You said get comfortable.
You went from back support is great to.
Well, you said also when I get comfortable that I have to be looking at you, and as soon as I said that,
that's a downside.
That really made me feel bad.
Yeah.
Folks, we're famous. In fact, we just got an award for the Podcasties. We get nominated for an award of the Podcasties. First of all, before we go any further, it's very important for me to find out. They don't know this, but tomorrow morning we're taping Getting Dug with High.
That's correct.
Okay. I have two things to ask you that I won't, that you say, oh, ask me this not on our podcast time, but I have no ability to make things, if not now, when?
Right.
Where is it? I know I'm going with you, but what part of town is it?
I don't know. They're picking us up, so I didn't care.
Okay, and then what time, how long does it take?
Don't know.
It can't be 3 hours, because I may have to go from there to therapy. And I thought maybe you'd have some more information. But usually they send you a thing that goes, you're going to Schmoopies, and don't forget about Hoo-Hoo. He has a green beard. Then, don't forget, Josh, to plug your Minnesota thing. That was the right structure, but the wrong info. I can't. My concentration is distracted for one reason now. I feel like after how am I 70 now?
It seems like it.
I really feel like I finally have figured out how to relate to dogs.
Yeah.
Because I think until this time, it was still like, no matter how it looked, it was still, what are you going to do for me, doggy?
Right.
Come on.
Now what? You're meeting him halfway now? What's the deal?
I mean, like I have genuine, or I try too hard. Let me pet you, stranger.
No, well, they'll tell you that, they want you to pet them until they walk away. Pretty much. And
then I had that OCD problem where I said, get away or something like that.
Oh,
and
right.
I was talking to my app. I was talking to Waze. I remember it very, very clearly.
Yeah.
Why is Waze...
Clearly, she's recovered since then.
Yeah, why is Waze... And why do they ask you? Don't they know that you don't want to when you're using the app? You don't want to go, would you tell us how satisfied... Now, that's not my beeping.
No.
You said, would you tell us how satisfied you are with our service? I'm going to get... But then they won't let you... Then they keep saying, are you sure you're a passenger in the car? You know what I'm saying? It's part of my Waze bit. I haven't got it worked out yet. Right. It's part of my... what's up with these crazy GPS things?
Right. They make you yell at dogs.
So I think we get picked up at 11 tomorrow. So I assume it has to start at something 20. I think it has to be something 20 somewhere.
Right, or you have to start smoking at something 20 somewhere. I think on the show.
Right. Oh, I'm not quite sure what you're saying now. You're saying it starts at 4:15.
I have no idea. All I know is we're getting picked up around 11. I assume that it'll start sometime within an hour of that.
All right. Well,
worst case scenario.
We're gonna have to talk strategy now.
Okay.
Because normally I don't listen. Normally I have to strain to listen.
Right.
Now I'm actively doing something to screw with me being able to relate to other. I'm just going to go off on my own thing, and you'll hate me.
No,
I don't know if Greg Proops was annoyed with me. We don't know. I think he was.
Tale is that Greg Proops was in fact annoyed with you, based on people who've watched it.
I've never seen it.
CJ's watched it a lot. CJ, the director of The Fiddling Horse, is a big fan of the show and has apparently watched that episode where you annoyed everyone, like there's a Zapruder film.
Yeah, I think I really did like there's something funny maybe the first time I don't let everybody else talk.
Right.
And I kept saying things like, this is from the 60s. This is from the 60s, right?
Right.
And in my mind, I was
But
killing.
I think I think that's where I become the safety net for you.
Well, that's right.
Because I can tell you to shut the fuck up and you won't hate me for 10 years.
That's true.
Because I put in the time.
Oh, because Proops is not going to communicate.
Right.
He's
If he tells you to shut up, you're still mad about it.
No, he wouldn't. That's
I know,
worse.
but I'm
He's the
saying, but if he
passive-aggressive
did.
guy. Yeah, if he told me to shut up, I probably would have shot myself.
Right.
I would have committed.
So that's, I finally even that on set. There was times where I told you to shut up, where other people would have thrown you.
It's very on set. Sometimes I could tell that. No, I don't know. I had nothing. But when I was on, I don't want to be one of the people who goes. When I'm on set, and I always tell the caterer this.
Right.
No green M&Ms. There are 5 or 6 or 7 anecdotes that you can't tell anymore. One is the Laurence Olivier. Why don't you try acting?
Okay.
I'm throwing this one on, although I just recently
I just
heard
love how you throw out 6 or 7 for yourself.
Why did you throw out that?
You could have done 3 and gone with a bonus now.
No, forget it. It's a couple. The other one is that, was it Aqualung? No, that's not the name of the group. Led Zeppelin would ask for no aquamarine M&Ms.
No,
green M&Ms.
That was Van Halen.
Oh, it was Van Halen.
Yes.
And there was no green M&Ms.
Right. And there is a reason for it.
The reason is that then you know they're paying attention.
To the writer, yes.
But what if they paid attention so much to the green M&Ms, they forgot to they mixed up the ant paste with the antipasto like Abbott and Costello did on that one episode. They're so worried about the M&Ms. Did you check those goddamn M&Ms? Yes, so much so that I did not see people who came in and...
That I left a puddle by the transformer on stage.
I didn't notice that the band got dosed while I was... I thought there was something funny with what I was saying.
Okay, so you're saying that one's tired too, and no one should bring it up again.
Yeah, so that's that one.
Right. But as long as I'm bringing it up a last time, let me see if there's any more meat on that hacky bone.
Well, the classic one is scrambled eggs, right?
What? The poem that yesterday was called Scrambled Eggs? Okay. These are all very different categories.
Okay.
These are all 3. One was an acting, one was a contract writer story, and one was a songwriting story.
Why don't you try acting, dear child?
Okay. So is there a radio one you'd like to retire?
I thought you used to criticize me because I couldn't make variety up my material. Now I'm all over the map. You should be going like, nice job, Andy.
Okay. Nice job, Andy.
I'm not going to say the name of the place, Josh, because I don't even want to. But I went to a pot shop this last week.
Yeah.
Where it made me, there's something they call, I guess, called weed maps. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to give you, someone says good. Well, I'm not getting paid to say weed maps, okay?
Right,
and if I did get paid, how much could it be?
Right.
Oh, we really need D-list celebrities.
As seen on Getting Dug with High.
Well, I went into this place, and this place, I think, first of all, I had to go there because I was on foot. It was rated 2.8.
Okay.
Now, sometimes...
Out of 5 or 4?
Out of 5.
Okay. So, right there.
It's not good.
Right there.
So, what do like, to me, it's like, what could be bad? These people are whining. You can buy legal pot. Now they're hopping on to make negative comments.
Right.
But it was a negative. They were right about this place. I didn't read the negative comment. Like I said, these people are amateurs. I know what I'm doing.
You haven't been to Steve the Dealer's apartment in 1975.
This place was like a bazaar, like a fake Middle Eastern bazaar.
Okay.
Come to our various areas. Talk to me.
Okay, so it was like a collective?
It was a collective. So
vendors?
There was one area that was dosist. Okay. The whole area was dosist. D-O-S-I-S-T.
Okay.
Which is a brand of vape.
Okay.
But so in other words, if you want vape, I like vape. Well, there's vape here. There's also vape with that's all the vape I carry.
Okay.
You want the vape over
so
this
it's like
area?
an antique mall almost.
It's right. Because I wanted I wanted some, and then I think I may have gotten. I think they may have overcharged me. Now, it may be even on purpose. Although, why wouldn't they?
Right.
But I bought, should I tell you what I bought and how much it was? Okay, I bought this, which I've been enjoying very, very much.
Yeah.
I walked in there, and this lady, she was on her own, and she had a white lady with dreadlocks, older.
Okay.
So I was like saying, and
like
by older,
like
I mean
a Chuck Lorre character.
Yeah. Okay. By older, I mean 15 years younger than me.
Right.
So she seems to have her whole area there, and so so I said the problem with the vapes is sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. So.
And she said, well, this one's great always.
I think she might be right, but I don't know. And then she was having trouble. Oh, I can't get these. It'll say on the receipt, Schmecka de Palm. You just remember it's not. It's Schmoop with the boop. Okay. I can't find the right thing. This is a half gram.
Okay.
And it says live resin. What does that mean? Have you heard that term?
I don't know.
It's pretty good, right? You've been using dead resin?
I've been rolling with dead resin until now.
$55.
Okay.
No, $40
plus $15 tax.
Well, no, forget the tax.
Okay, I will.
$40.
So what?
No, not like this is like a police lineup.
Okay.
We're not pulling a goof. A goof. So $40. Then I bought an eighth of a kind of pot.
Okay, what kind?
And well, I have a new joke now in my act. Ladies, I'm sativa dominant.
Yeah.
Like I'm dominant.
That works in some states.
It does. Not well, and it won't work for long.
Right.
So I got that, and that was an eighth.
Okay.
And that was $55.
Okay, so that's high shelf, high buck stuff.
Okay, I'm not going to tangent this one out, but yesterday the greatest thing happened in San Francisco. I got 5% for my first time shopping at the place, and 10% for being over 60.
Wow, you finally got a senior discount you can get behind.
This is the first senior discount I've ever taken.
There you go.
10%. They don't even say age. They go persons of distinguished, something like that. Right. Persons of distinguishment.
Nice.
So that was
a lot of firsts.
So that was great. Oh, I had a good time. I went with the watermelons things, and
okay.
So
you're shopping at pot shops every day now.
Don't tell Susan. Tell Susan to continue. If you see my wife, tell her I'm truthful except in one area. I spend $2,000 to $3,000 a week on various pot items, and I always lose these.
Oh yeah.
I'm very worried about it because I left one of these at Ralph's once.
Maybe you could wear it like with a glasses thing around your neck.
So I'm at $95, and this was the first time there, so I think I got like a 5% discount at this place too. Okay. So then I bought pre-rolls, right?
Okay.
I'm just telling you this because you're gonna need to figure it out.
Right.
Okay. So I got one free pre-roll with the
you didn't get a free one because they can't give you free ones if you don't have medicinal. You maybe got it for a penny or something.
Something like, or the person was they don't care.
There's a lot of they don't care. There's a lot of they don't care. Yeah.
So there were three of them at $13 each, so it was another $39. So now we're at 95 plus say 40. 95 plus 40, I get at 135. Okay. So then I go, I need this stuff for my, the rub on my Hebridean's nose and things like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I go over there, and this nice looking, I go up to an attractive lady, which is the stupidest thing to ever do.
Right. To talk about your nodes.
She's an attractive lady.
Yeah.
What do I think is going to happen?
Hebridean's nodes!
I showed her my nose. You're old when they don't even care enough to be disgusted by it.
Right.
It's not like that's a beast. It's like she doesn't even see me as the same race as her. I'm an old man beast.
Exactly. You're just a walking discount.
Yeah. It could be someone's poodle. Who cares? So she says, try this stuff. And it's called Synergy or something.
It's a bomb or a salve.
It's about this. It's not a huge tub. She says, this is good. Okay. What is the next thing she says to me? The next thing she says to me,
do you need help out?
She said, the woman from the other part of the room says, just tell them there that you have a tab that you're starting over here.
Oh, okay.
So I tell her, I'm with this tab. And I say my name. And then she goes, $2.75. I said, what? And I thought every Jewish thing you could. $2.75 for the salve?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying to me. I didn't know that she was adding them all up.
Right.
But she was, in essence, adding them all up. And so my price was $2.75. Went from $135 before tax.
Right.
It took me hours to figure this out.
Right.
I'm
so
not saying
that was some pricey salve, first of all.
that's so $2.75. I go, what? She explains now that she's going to ring. And I didn't even ask her, why did she ring me out? That was the other thing.
Right.
You're supposed to go here, put this on your tab, I go, oh my God, I thought you were telling me it was $275 for this salve.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, that's the whole thing. So I give her $275. I give her a tip.
Right.
And then she goes, oh, it's not printing out. It's not going to print out. I said, it's not going to print out. So we go back to the other place with the lady who sold me the thing. I take my things and I leave. And immediately is what you do. I immediately tried to start smoking a joint 3 feet from the place.
Yeah.
They say right on the thing, can you please not ruin our business by smoking your stupid joint in our face?
Right.
Just walk around the block. So I don't know what happened, is basically all I'm saying, but something got overcharged, right? But we don't know.
Well, there's probably like $40 worth of tax, at least.
That's true. Okay.
You know.
That's true.
So if it was $60 or $70 salve, then it all...
$40 tax on the whole thing?
At least.
Okay, so let's say 40, 50. So, but we're looking at...
Because isn't it like 20% tax ultimately now? And some dispensaries bake it into they bake in the first level of tax into their price, and then there's a tax on top of it.
And I'm sure this triple, quadruple. First of all, it was almost like I felt the vibe I was getting from this place is, of course, we're going to rip... Come on. This
No,
is part
but I've gotten the sort of like, wow, that tax sure does make it more.
Okay, so you think...
Because I had a medicinal before.
Okay, so it would have been $70 or $80 then for that salve. That's the only thing I got to find out online.
Right.
That salve is $70 to $80.
Right.
It seems to be working. So it only took me 2 days to get over that.
Okay.
But I had fun. I went to San Francisco last night for Sketchfest.
Right. You were there a couple days, right?
What day is it in the podcast land?
It's Monday, both in podcast land and in real life right now.
Well, how can you... Oh, are you saying that we tape on the night when our thing... I'm a little baby, I hope to fall asleep. I can sing like Adam Sandler, and anybody else can too. He sounds like this because he's afraid to use his own voice for comedy, so he hides his personality around a funny little voice. Thank you.
Well, nice to see a completed thought like that.
That wasn't bad.
Out. No.
Normally, I would just start to I would laugh at how I started.
I'm abandoning this bit. No.
I ripped it up.
Not this time.
I wrapped it up and I brought it home.
You did, with a flourish.
We brought it home. So I went to San Francisco. Okay, so it's Monday night, and we've gotten back from our movie shoot.
We have.
Right? What? Okay, so I'm imagining it's the night, but it's next week is this going to be. For the people in the real world,
right.
They'll hear this next Monday. By next Monday, it's all going to be different. Right?
Right.
President Pence.
Right.
Trump gets caught masturbating in the Statue of Liberty. That's all. I couldn't come up with any material.
Okay, well, you kind of blew your wad on the Adam Sandler bit.
Okay, when I was doing the Adam Sandler bit,
yeah,
it sounded to my ear that sometimes I was getting his almost pretty well down.
I think it was you kept enough of it throughout.
Yes.
That it was clearly an Adam Sandler bit.
That's not good enough.
No, that was good.
Okay, so that's
all you needed.
That's all you needed. You're
not an impressionist.
I'm not an impressionist, and I'm very tired of people who are... No, I'm not tired. So I went to Sketchfest, and I did I did this show. I'm sure you watched it.
Oh, you did a virtual show.
Oh, I'm sure you watched it, right?
Yeah, with my goggles.
You don't need the goggles.
Oh, no.
You just need... Do you have like a big tower of Marshall size?
Were you presented as sort of as yourself or as some sort of computerized?
No, it was myself. The guy who invented this is the guy who invented. He had Second Life.
Okay.
which was a kind of a popular thing. I remember even being very interested, not very interested enough to do it.
No, of course not.
But a lot of things I made, but a lot of mistakes I made, you would not have made these mistakes.
You would go to Second Life and lose your password back to First Life.
You know what was terrible about it? I started to have a whole set of OCD worries about this Second Life.
Right. So
And
you were like iconographed or whatever. I mean,
No. They did. They made a thing with it, Avatar.
yeah, an avatar.
But I didn't feel like it looked like me. You can tell me it looks like it would be like me as a hip high school chemistry teacher or something like that.
Right.
It looked very strange. But one of the things that I was told afterwards by the guy who came up with it, but it's hard to tell you the first time music goes, you made the mistake that all people make.
You leaned.
No, you hold the controllers. You hold them like you have to hold them here.
Yeah.
Whereas you can wave your arms and do all these different things. Each controller is like it becomes your hand.
Gotcha.
But it can also project. It can also teleport you. The thing that was ridiculous for someone like me, because you know how poorly I pick things up, the controller had things to grab. But there were some things that you could grab that was like, don't worry about the trigger, it doesn't work. So you're telling a man like me who can't multi-button,
Right.
this trigger thing doesn't work, but this trigger thing over here works.
Right.
So
and you have no video game control savvy even.
and I couldn't look at my notes.
All right.
I could have looked
So
at my
this
notes.
was okay. So this was just to set the scene for. I think you shorthanded a little bit what this was. This was you and
Michael Ian Black.
Michael Ian Black. You were doing a virtual reality comedy performance, stand up. Was there an audience there?
Yes, but the audience that was don't you hate on the pundit shows now where they go, excellent question. I'd punch somebody in the face if they said that to me. Excellent question. Well, that's my goddamn job. There were people who were there from the company. They had these really nice office and they gave us like food and everything. But I could not hear them when I had my thing on, really. I could kind of a little bit.
What did you have on?
When I had on, I put on a helmet, and that put me in the second life. I mean, in the virtual reality world, where there were people in this virtual comedy club who had come in and had entered to check out the performance.
So you were like, seeing all these icons in the audience through virtual reality.
Right. When I first got there, I swear to God, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually got not sexually. I hope not sexually aroused, but I go down there and I'm backstage.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm doing. And it took me like 30 minutes to get out to the stage.
Right.
So there's a lady back there. And I go, what's happening? And it's like I'm flirting with her. And that was great. And there's other people look like octopuses. And they're reacting to your thing. And they have like a thing like bubbles. Bubbles go on their head when they're typing.
This is like a bad someone describing their acid trip right now.
Right, because you can't. Not only are you not seeing what I saw, we're not even seeing what we did that night, which wasn't that great. But so I think it'd be something that down the road, it could be something interesting. I really, I can't leave that experience and say there's nothing there.
Right.
There's something about this. It's so primitive now in terms of you feel like you're in this. I mean, I've had it done where just I put a thing on, like a comic book person's boyfriend, and he makes these. He does. Ellen Forney's. I think it's her husband or boyfriend. He makes virtual reality things.
Okay.
He showed me he has a camera. He has a stick with with 18 cameras around it on the stick, and I put on his thing, and you do feel like you're in. It really challenges your concept of reality. It's not that you don't know you're in another world,
right,
but you could see how if this got even a little bit better, I would end up in some kind of a VD clinic, virtual VD clinic, because I'd be making up all the. I like to sleep with a half robot, half cougar.
Wow. Quite a little world you've built for yourself in that headset.
Well, did you ever get fooled when you first went on Facebook? And I still
never did.
Fooled.
I never first went on Facebook.
Okay, but where I thought that I assume the person's picture is them.
Right.
It's not always them.
No, it's not. But I get what you mean. Yeah.
Right, but it's like, and then you just feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I know it's a woman.
You're Rita Hayworth.
And I'm saying, this woman is so attractive. No, the worst is when you find out 6 months later, she's not even trying to hide her.
Right.
She's just like, it's Rita Hayworth or whoever it was.
Right.
That I didn't know. So I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for. I don't know what that meant. So, but people who listen to my friend Larry Berger, he said it's hard to even watch it.
Yeah.
Because it requires so much data.
Right.
Like the guy was telling me, it was really interesting. He was going, you can't let a lot of people into the comedy club at once because the picture starts to degrade.
Oh, great.
There's just too much information.
Right.
So anyway, I probably talked too long about that, but I got paid for it, and I really enjoyed.
Congrats on that.
And I enjoyed doing it. I always feel like with those things, it's something I never would have done. It was a half hour of my time, whatever, or an hour. And so from my point of view, it was fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something I totally would have said yes to.
Right.
Just because, why not?
But
especially with money, you know.
Yeah, but I did a PowerPoint presentation thing once.
Yeah.
That was just really bad.
Yeah, but that required you to come up with something new, whereas this was just your stand-up.
No, but I didn't have to come up with the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
I just had to come up with, in other words, like, while you're doing it, you have this PowerPoint.
Ah.
I am starting to question any premise of stand-up that's based on an improv premise. Like,
why? Because you did that Iron Comic thing?
Yeah, but no, I had fun. I mean, it wasn't a lot of fun.
What is the premise of Iron Comic?
Okay, the premise of Iron Comic is...
And did Nato Green come up with that show?
I think it was his show. Okay. I think he did come up with the idea. And it's a fun show. It's absolutely a fun show to do. But the thing is, you have to take 10 minutes writing 2 minutes about a topic that they pull from a hat.
Gotcha.
So I think, to be totally honest, as opposed to this, how I normally be like the Don Barrera's bit, I don't think that that's my strength right now, at least.
Right.
So to me, if I was an audience member, I wouldn't want to see my half-baked thing.
No, but, I wouldn't mind seeing your total discomfort with the idea,
That's why they invite me back.
Right. It's the kind of thing, conversely, that I would like very much, because that's how I roll.
Yes. Yeah. So that you would have...
Give me a joke hole, I'll try to fill it.
And then they go down to two people, and then the two people compete.
Gotcha.
But everybody is having fun, and a lot of talk about Jews. Whenever I go do a thing, Josh, all of a sudden somehow it becomes more Jewish.
Well, I mean, you're so Jewish that in the movie, I'm not even playing a Jew.
You clearly are not Jewish in this movie.
No, I'm waspy in this movie.
You're very waspy, and not like because you're not doing Thurston Howell III.
No, but I'm clearly not such an outsider.
How have you been recovering? First of all, I don't know if you've brought anybody up to date. No, you couldn't have. But your back started to feel better for the first time since the operation.
Yeah, it hasn't continued to get better.
I knew by the actual look on your face that this thing from 2 days ago...
I think what it was that I was on my feet for virtually all of those days.
Right.
And so my back was kind of adjusting to that. But on days where I sit a lot, it's still, it's better. But it's not like I feel like it's fixed by any means.
Well, look, let's go by. Let's pretend, and I think everybody loves this exercise, where I pretend I have information. Like, what if I was a doctor? What would I tell people?
Right.
And it's really charming. Not at all, because it's not real information. But I would say this. You had the operation on 12/15 or something like that?
13.
It is now a month and 2 weeks or something like that.
Right.
When you said you started to feel...
6 weeks, I think.
6 weeks.
So, like you said.
So in other words, we don't know what the normal length of recovery is, because you can't get your surgeon on the phone. Ba-boom, pshing, hiya, 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 watha. Tomato sauce.
And then you just shut down. He backed away and his head
big
nodded
and meaty.
off.
What's that, Jeff Holtman? Big and meaty. All right. So you don't know how and when you go to Pilates, how have your Pilates classes been?
They've been fine. It's harder after you take 2 weeks off that first time, but The only downside, I mean, I still have like some swelling in my back, so lying on hard things.
Oh, and you do that for Pilates?
Yeah.
What is for the layperson?
Not hard, but firm.
For the layperson, paint me a word picture. It doesn't have to be long because I know you hate doing these things. What are you sitting on? Like a bed of nails? What is a Pilates machine? I used to think I knew. Does it have like those things that you pull on?
Yeah.
Like from the Chuck Norris commercial?
Not like the Chuck Norris commercial. They don't seem like they'll snap off. You're on like a padded sort of sled that's on rollers that goes back and forth.
Okay. And it's is it like it's not a table, it's like a more of a chair thing.
No, it's more like a beddy shaped. I mean, it's long and so because you move up and down it, and there's a lot of springs that provide resistance.
Is it designed that your teacher could use it by themselves?
Yeah.
But you go there, you have her adjust the various.
Yeah, she knows what all my settings are.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm asking that.
And I've increased resistance on everything over time.
Well, I've noticed that you've been increasing resistance every episode of the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Like that. My derisive laugh is.
I noticed last night when I did 4 shows yesterday.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not normally good with one show.
You did the Marines Memorial, right? I saw that.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a nice weird place, isn't it?
Yeah,
we did a cinematic
cool,
Titanic show there years ago. It's like upstairs in this Marine.
It's from the Merchant Marines originally, I think.
Yes, and it still exists as that, as a place where they stay for cheap, and there's like a membership, I think.
Oh, it's
like a hotel as well.
Are Merchant Marines like part of the war effort? You know what? I'm sorry I asked questions.
They helped move things.
Okay. But they're not like mercenaries like Blackwater or whatever.
No. Different.
I know you're a big fan of that Eric Prince thing. I don't want to hear it. This is my new
hey, he was always nice to me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I get it. You thought Imelda Marcos had her own thing. Okay, so over.
So you did 4 shows. Was it all yesterday?
Well, that was the thing. It was all yesterday. No, it was on Saturday. I'm sorry. I did 1 show last night. Okay. That was the Merchant Marine show.
Gotcha.
And that was a nice theater. And I got to be on 3 shows with Aparna Nancherla.
Yeah.
Who I think is hilarious. And she's great to be on shows with. And also Jackie Cation, who was doing a very, very great bit about men and violence but I actually heard.
And did you bring up the Supercast with Jackie Cation?
Yes.
Did you?
I brought it up with Jackie and Laurie.
Oh, very nice.
And they both said it would be a great idea.
Excellent.
And that is so unlike me to remember.
No, I know.
Through,
I was
right?
flabbergasted that you did.
I said, well, first of all, I wanted to make them know because I had to make it a little bit OCD. Like I said, I just want you to know, I never knew. I haven't listened to your podcast. I didn't know you didn't have guests. So I don't know why I was presenting it like we thought, like they were going to accuse me of taking their format of 2 people talking.
Sad. That's sad.
It is sad. After all this therapy, what am I paying therapy for if I'm not going to make any progress? But then they both were like, could see how it would be really fun.
Good.
Yeah. So I think I said public, which I think would be better, right?
Yeah, sure.
Public.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
see?
Yeah, sure. Playing. Yeah.
That's good. So overall, fun time?
It was fun because I stayed at this hotel that was a boutique hotel.
Which one?
It was called the Kimpton Buchanan.
Okay.
You might have stayed there, right? I
stayed at a different Kimpton-esque one, but it wasn't that one. I like Kimptons usually.
You what?
I usually like Kimptons.
It's, look, nothing against the club quarters, but you feel like the club quarters, when you're there, you feel like you could go through a door, you'd be in North Korea.
Right.
In a second. And the only advantage would be they have bottled water. And it's very corporate club quarters.
Yeah.
Put your thing in. Hi, businessman.
I've never stayed there, but I hear tale.
This place, I love this place, and it was clean.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I've been missing from the last few years or something. They do something with the cleaning that makes you go, I'm going to come back to this place. I wish I could I'm not making money from this.
I understand.
But it was beautiful. So I really love it because I love San Francisco. I love going up there.
Yeah.
So, Larry Berger's up there, the great Larry Berger. And, so everyone knows Larry on the podcast, so I'm not going to explain more about him, but Larry and I are like, Larry is the opposite of you in the sense that
he's supportive.
But no, he's willing to go down roads that you would discourage us going down. Okay. And so it's like, you want me? He goes, do you want me to take you to the club tonight? I said, I think I'm going to get so it's like 13 minutes later, but I could go and get my car.
Oh, okay.
I could drive. And it's like we both do it, but we both are doing it.
Right.
And we both have bad people skills with it. But he also was he didn't mortar anything, but he was there when I got my first senior citizen.
That is kind of one of my hot wires, which is making a huge deal out of something that is super simple.
No. You would have probably killed both of us.
I kept my shit together with you and Susan this past week.
Yeah,
there's more love for both parties coming from me, I think, you know?
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, because, you wouldn't shut Susan down like you shut me down.
No, that's true.
Hey, are you going back to the rental car? You know, Josh, do you know in general that when you rent a car, that you need to allow more time to get back to the rental place?
Thanks, Andy.
The way you reacted, you would have thought I'd said that. Mm. I was doing more like a life hack.
You might want to.
I would be the worst person on those hacks pages because my things would be, hey, Andy hack. Check your door 15 times when you lock it.
Life hack, bring an extra suitcase.
Pro
tip, bring 3 of everything.
I think pro tips, I'm telling you, this last time.
You know what I say?
What?
A pro tip is just a life hack with a job.
I hope, for the sake of all of us, that you don't go too much further down this Dilbert-like road of office humor. Dilbert, I don't want to talk about Dilbert, but the guy is crazy and I'm fascinated. I know he blocked me.
Yeah, so thank you for likening me to him.
No, I used to love that. When Dilbert first came out, I never read it, but I thought it was supposed to be clever.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't it supposed to be clever?
That's what the people who put them up on their cubicle walls thought.
Well, Office Space was extremely clever, the movie Office
Indeed,
Space.
it was.
And it captured and went far beyond.
Well observed.
Thank you. You don't say nicely played, do you?
Just once in a while.
Okay, good. Nicely played.
I like to keep it around.
My mouth is so dry. I asked Aparna Nancherla, since she's an expert on antidepressants.
Yeah.
And the dry mouth thing. My mouth feels here.
I hear it.
It's a dry, and I don't know what to do. I mean, I know what to do about it, but is this going to be the rest? I mean, I can't take this nightmare anymore. I don't know what.
I have an idea.
What's that?
You brought water.
Yeah, I brought water. Forget about the migration from the south. This is a real problem I have. But what I would like to have is some kind of a thing that's constantly in my mouth. That's
the opposite of one of those dental suck things.
Yeah, a hydrator.
Okay.
Like maybe people would think I was listening.
Maybe you could stick like a humidor, humidifier to the roof of your mouth.
I don't know. I'll do whatever that Chris Matthews does because he really keeps everything moist and spraying. Ooh, that was a nice touch.
Thank you.
I get nervous. I don't know about the rest of you people, but when your podcast partner lowers the lighting and says you want to get more comfortable, this is in case you're Perush, if you're scoring these parts of the show, this is my ongoing homophobia that I think was somewhat amusing up to about 20 years ago. Right?
File it under anti-gay people.
Yeah. Hey, there's gay and there's too gay. There was that type of
sure.
Sure. You notice in our podcast that we never say we're restricted by. We don't care about we're not like We can say whatever we want, but we don't really care.
We don't take advantage of that.
We're not taking advantage of it.
No.
You do sometimes with your potty humor.
Sure. Please stop.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of the... let me just say one thing to you. If you think that you're being any more nicer by saying, please stop, it's not working. I would prefer you throttled me.
Okay. Good tip.
All right. So you are back. Okay, so what's happening with us? We're getting high tomorrow.
Getting high with Doug tomorrow.
Oh, my God. I hope I haven't prepared. I haven't not prepared. That's going to be fun. Or maybe it's not going to be fun. I'm tired of having expectations.
Yeah.
Let's go in without a game plan as opposed to our regular podcast.
Right. Well, is there something you want to discuss that you're worried about?
Tomorrow?
Yes.
No.
Okay, good.
I'm not, because Doug is passive aggressive.
Yeah, I can feel that, I think, from the show.
And then he's going to be high, and then he'll be more passive aggressive. And then the fun begins there. I don't know what it is about this show.
Well, I do think that,
it's great.
I know that you and CJ were talking about how everyone was annoyed with you on the other one, but it does seem like that's kind of his posture, as he's sort of annoyed with everyone on his show.
He's a curmudgeon. He's been a curmudgeon since I met him in the mid-'80s. He's a curmudgeon.
Okay.
He's been perennially a 90-year-old. He's perennially been a regular Joe Garagiola. He's dead.
He is.
That's the new show I'm going to be doing.
But he was also very positive.
Joe Garagiola. Did you ever watch him and think he was a humorist? He was pretty good.
I didn't think he was a humorist, but I thought he was a likable
He was okay.
chap.
He was a likable character.
Yeah.
But
like
you know what?
He was like a more palatable Willard Scott, kind of.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that as time goes along...
And Snoopy would make reference to Joe Garagiola.
Snoopy would?
Yes.
What did he say?
I don't know. He was part of the palette of Peanuts.
Oh, man. Well, I don't have room. Every year, at the end of the year, I meet with doctors and we decide what I can no longer think about because it just plugs up my brain. So can't guarantee that 10 years from now I'm going to be using Joe Garagiola references.
Okay, fair warning.
Very good, sir. Okay, so what else is in the news, as we say? What else is going on?
I did a show in Burbank on Friday night.
Did you? And the show was at what room?
It was at a place called Geeky Teas and something.
You better not let flappers know.
No, I know. I might be banned.
Are you serious?
No, I have no.
Oh.
No, I have.
That would be fun if there was.
I have no skin in the flapper. I have no flapper of skin.
But it would be something that would make the whole thing more interesting if there was a big feud out there.
It kind of feels like the era that Flappers is in is the era of comedy club feuds, like with bands and things like that.
No language days.
But it was fun. I started talking about trying to turn the movie into material.
Oh.
So it was. I have this bit going about, I got this big part in a movie and I'm not really an actor and just sort of was handed to me. And, my actor friends don't like that story.
That is true.
They'll be like, that's great. Congratulations. They're like, yeah, no audition even. That's fantastic. And I'm like, yeah, I remember you being a better actor.
Well, that thing is, you're putting your finger on something that's a perennial thing. Like, sometimes people, ultimately, it doesn't come down to much more than practicing it a lot and do you have the ability to do it. I think some of these actors are selling the whole thing. Oh, you couldn't possibly, the things I'm doing.
Right.
Like, especially like Paula, she's great. But she's sticking in my face, she can cry. That's all I care. That's why I got into this acting racket, was to cry.
Yeah.
And not really. But
you will when you see it.
But no, but she was like, these actors, she's a very sweet person, but I'm telling you, because I was almost a theater major and all this kind of stuff, they do think they're a more developed level, the actors. That they walk the boards. They are talking to their muse. And,
wow. I don't want to go on this limb because I actually have respect for actors, Andy.
Wait a second. First of all, you're taking it, all you're thinking, I know what I can see the clocks turning in your face.
All right.
You're thinking I'm making a specific statement about somebody. I'm not.
No, I
making a
don't. I think
statement.
you're making a bad generalization.
I don't think so.
You're
I don't
basically
think
saying acting is easy, and anyone
That's
who
not what I'm
pretends
saying.
like it's not is being pretentious.
I'm saying that actors have a tendency to be more pretentious than comedians as a whole.
Well, yeah,
Not as
because
a-
they won't give each other as much shit.
No, because comedians, thank God comedians aren't as vain as actors. If they were, they would be even more insufferable.
But like Paula Lindbergh didn't have a shred of pretentiousness going on. She hung very well with our fucking dicking around
No, but
attitude
she
for a
has
week.
very, very, like she said to me, she doesn't like sense memory things because she just feels like you should be able to get yourself into the mode.
Right.
But that's just from someone who can do it.
Right.
She's not telling me I'm bad, but
No,
I know.
It's implied.
What's that?
It's implied.
It's implied. So there's no question that when you're on territory that isn't like familiar territory, there's always these things to learn and everything. But the idea that there's actors over here and then there's comedians over here, I don't buy into that type of thing, even though I can be very hard on myself. So I'm trying to demystify it.
I don't know. She made me a better actor. You didn't.
You know, did you ever think that your brief little snarky summations are not always on the money?
Well, that one rang true to me.
It did ring true to you because you think you don't see, because you go, oh, he's just doing, you don't see the brilliance beneath the veneer of incompetence that I'm really projecting. And you think it's easy for me? Yes, because I'm not doing much. Because I think of emotions as an imposition on my acting. Anyway, forget all this bullshit.
All right.
We all had fun. All I'm saying is, no, I was making a specific point. I have met a lot of people, comedians, or somebody. It's like when people say, I'll give you a perfect example. They go, hey, Rick Messina, he started out as a bartender at some club.
Right.
I always resent it when people say that. It's like, well, where did you want these people to start out as?
Right.
You know? So I'm actually a wonderful human being.
Well,
I'm just saying people can do anything.
There are plenty of actors who are completely full of shit, and there are plenty of comics who are too, but it is flavored differently.
Yes, absolutely. I like to think that we have a certain kinship being comics that nobody else shares, where you can laugh. But that's true of any people with senses of humor. They don't have to be two comics.
Right. But I mean, I think, there is there's people who live a humor lifestyle, you know what I mean? Where it's like part of life is finding the best joke about what's going on at any given moment.
Right.
You kind of see that on Twitter, that there's some people just trying to go joke to joke.
Right. Well, there's some writers that way too.
Yeah.
Right?
And, to some extent I am. I mean, not in life, but in.
I don't know. Yeah, right. I know what you're saying.
But so when you're around comics, you feel safe going for a joke.
Yes.
Taking the swing. Whereas in polite company, it's always a much more of a judgment call.
That's what I'm noticing. That sometimes when I meet people, if I'm in the mode of everyone's a comedian or everyone has a sense of humor, I forget that a person might not have a sense of humor who you're meeting.
Right.
And it's happened to me so many times, like, where I even have to say to myself, it's almost like that joke where Paul Tompkins talks about how he was next door to Weird Al, and he kept yelling at Weird Al to be quiet. And Weird Al kept apologizing and everything. And then Paul Tompkins at one point realized he didn't know who they had never met before.
Yeah.
So it was actually weird that he felt weird doing it. So that's how sometimes I feel like if I'm pre-snarky or something, or pre-sarcastic,
right,
and I get surprised they don't know, it's not that it shouldn't be that surprising, because some people are not ever engaging on that level unless they really have to adjust themselves to it.
Yeah. Especially if you go to some other countries, like you go to Asia. Like, sarcasm isn't part of the vernacular, They're pretty face value people when it comes to syntax.
But isn't that just because you don't speak the language?
No, but I'm talking about English speakers.
Oh.
Like, it's just that attitude isn't really a part of their daily interactions.
Right. But I meet people all the time. Like, to me, I always think, so many things are cultural, but when you do make the connection with somebody on the humor front, on the sarcasm front, or whatever the thing is, it does transcend. It kind of does transcend language.
No, I agree, but it's just, but if people don't, it doesn't occur to people that that's where people are coming from.
No,
we had a fixer in Tokyo. I thought we might have been talking about this.
What's a fixer?
A fixer is the person we hired when I went and shot in Tokyo. We hired a fixer who's the person who basically is your translator, makes arrangements for things. He drove us around. If we wanted to eat, he'd go scout somewhere for us to eat. He was literally the fixer.
And he did a good job?
It was awesome. But we were driving around in this van, and, like 70% of what we were saying was sarcastic, and it took him forever to, not believe everything we were saying,
right.
And to the point where he's going, oh, that's sarcasm. I get it. That's hyperbole. Oh, And he had lived in the States for a couple of years going to school. So, he had pretty good English going on. But when you get into the subtleties of sarcasm, it's almost, it has to be learned because it's so foreign, so to speak.
Well, then how about what Lenny Bruce and Hugh Fink would do jokes about how they sound, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, they sound like they're being, Hugh Fink used to do that joke. They sound like they're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Is the sweet and sour sauce, is it sweet? No sweet. No sweet. It's like he says the way they sound like it is sarcastic.
Right.
But are you saying, I didn't explain that well, but are you saying in general there is no sarcasm in the culture? No.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. I never realized that. I just thought it was all cultural.
Well, especially in Japan, every part of the culture is meant to not put people in situations to hurt each other's feelings in any way.
Right. I see. So
there are so many dances that are done so that there isn't personal conflict in any way, or misunderstandings that people would have to then, interrelate to solve. So no, I think it's safe to say that it isn't part of the culture.
Man. Well, I mean,
like everything, there's obviously Americanized people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think culturally when I meet people. French people are.
Oh, they got the sarcasm.
British
people certainly have sarcasm. Russians are dripping with sarcasm.
Yeah, and in fact, Russians love jokes that brutally self-deprecating jokes. They not brutally self-deprecating, but they love making fun of themselves.
Yeah.
Which I found in Australia was something that was good for me. They really don't like people who are, braggy, like Dane Cook. They didn't even know Dane Cook was in Australia.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're kind of keep people in their place kind of people.
Yeah, they don't want you to. That's like they used to do that joke where the British comics would, say, "Oh yeah, what do you want me to say about you? Setting you up for your credits,"
right?
Sounding odd because they don't use credits,
right?
So they would they would know how to get to. They would be sabotaged. Not real. It's all in good fun, as you know. My mind was starting to. Oh, so should we talk about how are we doing on time? Should we talk about the movie, The Swimmer?
Sure.
I saw it tonight.
Yeah, and what did you think?
I both loved it and thought it was completely odd. The music was the most jarring part of it for me.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was stuck in that time period where there was a time period where Robert Altman or all these people, or where movies in general start using music on the radio could be part of the
right. But this is Marvin Hamlish.
I don't think it was
like his first score ever.
I think that was, to me, it sounded like
it was ham-fisted. It didn't fit well. Yeah.
And because he did that classic thing where he has a theme and then he goes back to it later with other themes, but that's minor. I really did enjoy the meat of it. I thought I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
It really felt like it was. And not knowing anything about it, I don't know, were they influenced by Five Easy Pieces and those kind of movies, or did it come before that?
It came a little before that. It was based on a John Cheever short story.
Right, and I used to read him a little bit in college. I don't remember him, though, but he's a great writer. And I think.
I've never read him, but the world that this movie inhabits, that wealthy early suburban East Coast world, the tone of it was exactly what I always felt like what Cheever was,
Right.
That sort of disdain for that class and and yet sort of repertorial about that class.
It's
too.
kind of an East Coast graduate in a way.
It's kind of that. It's also kind of Death of a Salesman. It's
yes.
But, I took it as a dream. I took the whole thing as a dream because that's how everything was sort of presented.
Right.
The dialogue is slightly stilted. The information comes at him and things about his life come at him and he doesn't know them as having happened, like happens in a dream.
Right.
Right. And then the most obvious one, which is he's fucking walking through it naked, basically,
Right.
While everyone else is clothed in the world, pretty much, he's walking through this entire movie in a swimsuit like you would in a dream, But then there's, obviously it's not reality. It's an allegory no matter what.
Right.
Because it starts in summer and ends in winter and, all these things sort of.
But if you heard the description of it, you would think it was less, and it was very, you wanted to watch it. It was very absorbing, even though it was in this like dream world type of thing. I wasn't thinking like enough already with the metaphors because I kind of bought the moment to moment reality of it.
Yeah, I didn't really. Mm-hmm. It didn't ever draw me in for real. It did, partially because the character himself was there was no charm to him for me. And he became, it was clear early on that he was sort of a lech, and it was kind of clear that, he wasn't someone who I wanted to align with.
Right.
But it was interesting. There was things that took me out. There was lots of big swings they took with sort of camera effects that were just bad and clumsy.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I thought there were a couple of them were interesting. Like there was one where they were both walking side by side towards the camera early on, him and this guy. And I actually thought...
No, there's some stuff. It was just like, it wasn't like
an amateurish, pretentious swing.
Somewhere, I thought. I felt like some of them were amateurish and not well pulled off. But I also thought there was a lot of padding in the movie,
What do you mean?
Like a 3-minute jumping montage,
Well, that's for sure the thing that was...
It felt... What I liked is that it really did feel like a short story, in its structure, but I also felt like it had to be stretched out to maintain the structure. And I think, it was a 10 or 12 page story in the New Yorker when it ran. So it's like they added more.
Oh, it was based on a John Cheever New Yorker story?
Yeah. And so it was, so they did have to build it out to make it a feature film. And because you see these little clues being dropped fairly early in the movie, you're kind of heading towards a delusion at the end, pretty early on.
Right, but to me, unless I often miss narrative parts of movies, but I felt like they weren't necessarily telling you exactly what you should know. I mean, like it wasn't all drawn out for you.
No,
but unless I missed something.
Well, but you have to decide: is this a man having a psychotic break, or is this a man in a dream? At some point during the movie,
right? But I'm talking about the specifics. Like it felt like a Lolita type thing at one point. Like where he had some inappropriate, like it was like, was that a friend of his daughter? I mean, like they were alluding to things that you didn't know whether.
Well, like his daughters had a car crash, a drunken car crash. So early on, when he mentions his daughters worshiping, and being these perfect girls, that's when people sort of back away from him early in the movie.
But they never specifically say this. They died on a car crash.
It's all. It's all illusions. It's some young guy fucked him over at work, which is clearly how he lost his job. And then at some point he was borrowing money from people, and at some point the wife started selling shit off and,
Yeah.
So you get those clues throughout, but you also get these much more thematic things where he's getting, the closer to home he gets, the chillier reception he gets from people,
right.
and the literally physically colder he gets as he goes, and the more he ages throughout the film, where in the beginning he's a young man and everyone else is the old people, and at the end he's the limping old man who's.
I thought they did a good job with that. Like
all of those things are really interesting.
Yeah, because like Burt Lancaster,
literary thing.
Yeah, and like Burt Lancaster, you could tell whatever he was like, his hair was losing his hair, whatever it was. I was wondering, like, to me, like a guy like that in that time period, I felt that was like, he was swinging with. He wasn't afraid to swing with that kind of to make himself look like he was falling apart, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, just to fucking do a whole movie in a bathing suit is a pretty sort of brave actor thing.
You think he's
to do.
40 something?
I think he was probably closer to 50.
Wow, and that was the thing that was amazing too, because if you think about it, the guy, when you first see him, you could be fooled into thinking that he's almost like an Adonis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like,
well,
he's timeless.
He has that old Hollywood bodybuilder body, which is thick but not six-packed. It's
and that's what I thought
hard looking.
Was great, because that's what I feel about Burt Lancaster. I always love watching him, and he looks like nobody else I've ever seen.
Yeah, and this was an amazing performance in some ways.
Yeah.
And
did you think there was any downsides to his performance? I kind of loved it all the way through.
I didn't. I can't fault it, because you can't put a finger on exactly what was being gone for.
Yeah.
There were times where there was just sort of just pure Burt Lancaster-y kind of staring off into the
right, and piercing blue eyes.
Yeah. So dreamy. But I bought. I thought it was a cool performance in a lot of ways. But it felt, and it did, it definitely had that Death of a Salesman kind of surreal flashback, kind of feel to it, and guy losing his manhood, as it gets drained out by other people, Well, I also thought that when I was first writing songs, and even like now when I think about writing things, well, not jokes so much, but I'm always been obsessed with the concept of home, and in that play I did in college, it was Mad Dog Blues, and Sam Shepard had these lyrics to a song called Home, and I wrote music to it. It was like, that's a great song. The lyrics of that song are kind of amazing, and so like I really related to the not abstract, but almost like a spiritual reach. Like I could feel what it would be like to say to myself, I wonder if I could swim home. I kind of related to that thing without saying you knew exactly why he had to do it that way. Right.
Do you think that I'm missing something even more concrete about why he wanted to do it that way, or?
I think it's because he was a child at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Symbolically, he was a child and saw himself as an explorer, and I'm going to go do.
And people weren't they happy to see him at the beginning?
They were and that decreased as he got closer to home.
The thing that I wanted to say about it, because I don't want to go on forever about it and say, but I will say I enjoy watching it all the way through, and I could be very bored by that style of movie if it doesn't. So there was something that affected. It reminded me a little bit of a movie that was made recently. I can't remember the name. If I remember the name, I'll tell you. It was about a guy who was gay. And his boyfriend died, but he couldn't even visit his boyfriend because it was back when you couldn't visit, but it took place out in L.A. Is it ringing a bell?
No.
It's a great actor too, who I can see his face. He's got like this, oh, I'm a good actor, right?
Yeah.
But then, let me see if I'm giving you more information. He was great in this movie. He's British. This movie happened during the Kennedy years, and the guy who played, and somebody will peruse, check it out. The guy who played the role of this guy had to do a scene where he tried to call up and find out about his gay lover who committed suicide, but the family wouldn't even let him talk. And it was the night that Obama won, and he literally was having trouble containing his enthusiasm because he was so thrilled that Obama won, and he had to do this very serious thing. John Hamm plays a role in this movie. He plays the voice of somebody on the phone. I wish. Why don't you say something like, you know what, Andy?
Who gives a fuck?
Fuck yeah, something like that. Right. Andy.
Sorry.
Here's what I think you should say, Andy.
This
who
is
gives
good
a fuck about this?
This is good practice for tomorrow.
But you don't know the handsome guy from the Love Actually movies? I don't like you more relaxed like this. I decided.
No.
Yeah, because you're just like you're sitting back there. You're like, look, you're an idiot. You see my body? Right. You see the way my body? Boom, boom. Look, Chantix. It got me to the point. It made me so much not want to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. Boom. I don't smoke. So anyway, 2 thumbs up on the swimmer. The swimmer. Next time it's going to be The Conversation, which I'm so excited about because there's Nazis and everything, right?
Let's not ruin it.
Oh.
I would say Andy's thumb up on The Swimmer is more enthusiastic than mine.
Yeah, I think I roll over. You know what the thing is? Here's the problem with me. My problem is, I see Burt Lancaster do something slightly offbeat. I think he's changed the universe.
Yeah.
You see that thing, and he looks over to the end of the pool, and then, Burt Lancaster, like you've never seen him before because it's not particularly interesting.
No, but I do totally see why people,
I like it.
It's a very much a cult sort of film because it was sort of out of print for a long time. It was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was kind of obscure. Like it didn't have much of a home release for a long time, and so,
I didn't have to pay for it, buddy boy. Did you?
I did, but because I was too lazy to look on Amazon Prime.
Then you know what they said to me that you didn't check on? Free with Amazon Prime. They said, watch it now. I said, I will.
I think I will.
How come my Amazon Prime has? It looks like they didn't sync movies yet. Is that me or is that Amazon Prime? Because this Bezos, he might not have a lot of money to be able to fix.
You have sync issues with your Amazon Prime movies?
Syncing. Less with Netflix. And we'll be back with Tech Talk. Do we have the same setup? Are you with Spectrum? Are you on the Spectrum?
I don't like to say.
Oh, you don't?
I'm just kidding.
You got me going. That was good. You're on the dish, right?
No, I have cable.
So you don't get to watch your favorite sports teams either. First of all,
I do.
This is the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life that's coming up. It's not the worst, but I want to know your opinion.
There's actually a team from your city, and you're calling it the worst?
No, but they need to change the rule that if a guy has a helmet-to-helmet and takes out another guy, I don't care whether it was based on a penalty or not, that play should have been overturned. Am I right about that, Josh?
What?
All I'm saying is that the Saints should be in the Super Bowl. What?
Huh?
Do you want to watch that goddamn Tom Brady? He's like 60 years old. He's walking around. He has a walker out there. Do you really want him to win one more goddamn Super Bowl? I'm rooting for the Rams.
No, I like having someone to root against.
Yeah, okay. So and I'm going to be in Vegas.
Very nice.
And I'm going to bet on the Rams.
Okay.
Now, I'm also going to be betting on the Mets to win the World Series.
Okay.
And the Jets to win the next Super Bowl.
Okay.
Is there any like $25 bet that you want me to make for you, or $50 bet?
Oh yeah, I bet you won't just give me $25.
What do you mean? So, come on, don't you want me to bet the Vikings to win or the Twins?
No, because they won't. And then it's a dumb bet.
But I told you. You know that I won money that 1 year in the year 2000. I bet $40. $20 for the Mets to win the pennant, and $20 on them winning the World Series. They were 40-1 to win the pennant.
Nice.
I got $800.
Nice.
And then they lost to the.
All right. Well, I'll think of some speculative bet for you to put.
I know, because it's so much fun. Do you ever do the sports betting thing where you pick? If you pick the 5 teams that could never win, and then if they win, you win like $50,000. I mean, it's really.
All right, let's take a break.
Now, are we taking a break where you're going to play a song?
I could, yeah. I'll play a song.
Because I miss Allison's music.
Okay, well.
And I still am going to be putting my thing together soon, so check that out. Hey, by the way, you're performing this week as Al Fresco, right?
You know where I am performing, I think, this week? Is at, even if it's not exactly this week, February 8th at Dynasty Typewriter, I'm performing at Andy Kindler's particular show.
So will this come out?
I think this might be coming out the Monday of that week.
Come on down this Saturday night?
No, Friday night, February 8th.
to Dynasty Typewriter.
Yes, near MacArthur Park. So let's play. Well, here's sort of a sweet song of Allison's. Kind of a country song, kind of a love song. It's called "Living in Poverty."
When did you get the DJ?
I had no plan.
part?
I had no plan, so I had to go pause. I had to go halting DJ.
I'm the richest girl in the world, though it doesn't look that way. Darling, everything I have, no one can take away. They're the luckiest people on earth, 'cause we're happy and we're free without love. Living in poverty. Oh, without love. Living in poverty. I would give you all that I have just to make you smile. Darling, all I've got to give is what I feel inside. I'm the happiest girl in the world when you're lying next to me. Without love, living in poverty. Oh, without love, living in poverty. Darling, think it over. Wearing clover, we got love and honey. It's worth so much more than Hey, I'm the richest girl in the world, and you can bet your bottom buck. Although everything we own fits in the back of a pickup truck, they're the luckiest people on earth. Oh, we're happy and we're free without love. Living in poverty. Oh, without love. Living in poverty.
There you go.
That was Without Love, You're Living in Poverty on the Quiet Storm. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, that's the best song I've ever heard in my life. Now, I know I'm guilty of hyperbole, and I went out and had some, there's sativa dominant, and there's also hyperbole dominant,
All right.
hyperbolic dominant weed. And I love, song is perfect. Her country, she always had a kind of a country thing, but
Right.
it is the combination of the sincerity of the song, and I love the arrangement. I don't know how you felt about the arrangement. I thought the arrangement was great.
I like it. It's tasteful.
And who arranged that?
I really honestly
Don't know.
can't chapter and verse on that one.
Who's singing the harmony?
Claudia Russell, who was in
Outstanding.
It was her Maggie's Farm band.
Let me tell you something. I don't know why I'm saying it like a salesman, like a used car salesman.
I'm sold already.
I love that song, and that's like right in the it's like a wheelhouse of music to me. You got your Lucinda Williams, you got your Andy Williams, you got your John Williams,
You got your Cindy Williams.
and for some reason I keep going back to this kind of I don't want to call it country because it's more like It's not country, but it has
California country. That
California country, and
you seem to
also
like so much.
I like the relaxed feel of that arrangement. I feel like now that I'm like not.
It was almost kind of an Eaglesy arrangement, really.
Yeah, and it was and I see like when people make fun of or that one guy Lester Bash. No, who's the guy?
Lester Bangs.
Was he the guy who hated all the Eagles music?
Yeah.
It's like it's not my fault that he's always miserable. That feeling that they captured, I needed that feeling when I moved down here for a couple of years. It's like it's relaxed, and you're high. You're very high from the weed or whatever you're on,
Right.
and that's how you feel in the moment.
Sort of a peaceful, easy feeling.
It's a peaceful feeling. Whereas Lester Bangs is like, does everything have to be? I don't know example of a song that he would say would be the opposite of that. Maybe I think his favorite song was In the Year 2525.
Well,
A real issues song.
he was trolling when trolling didn't exist.
No, anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about, but you get the point. That was great. That was so great. And the first part, I want to tell you something. The first part of the show, I just called some people.
Yeah.
And I knocked it out of the park.
Oh, good. Excellent. I always like good feedback.
And I say to people, what do you think of Josh?
Don't pick at that scab.
And the phone goes dead.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God. This is when you know I'm tired. I'm not tired.
Because you're talking.
Well, I'm talking, but I'm out of material.
You know he's tired because his lips are moving.
I don't get it. Look, here's the thing. One day they're going to have to figure out this syncing when you are looking at things online. Because what am I watching?
I don't know. I paid good money and mine synced up just fine.
Well, because you bought it. Now it's yours.
No, I rented it. Now it's.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen. Here's how technology ignoramusly I am.
You're not talking on mic, for example.
Look, I gave you probably 15 to 20 minutes of solid mic work.
Yeah.
Tonight. What do you want from me? What am I going to be? Now I forgot what I was going to say. It's all your fault.
Yeah. Now we're talking getting dug.
With high. Does it feel like it's raining? It's not raining.
It's not raining.
Okay.
We're inside.
I missed a little bit of Baton Rouge's crazy weather.
Yeah.
It was something exciting about it, but there was also something very humid. It was humid the whole time
Very
we were
humid.
there.
Yes. Everything gets a little damp to the touch.
Right. And talk about damp to the touch. Did I ever mention to you that was the only thing that my wife complained about on our wedding night?
I didn't feel you were headed there at all for a very long time.
She said to me, I said, are you enjoying the nuptials? She said, yes, but everything feels a little too damp. You think me saying it completely and leaving nothing to the imagination helped, hurt, or hindered?
I would say sabotage. Guy Incognito, we're going to questions.
I like that you did that.
We're jumping right into
Because
questions.
you could have gotten angry with me.
Why?
Because she said,
Where's the
look,
wind?
the guy's hanging by a thread. Let's just dive in.
That's right. Guy Incognito says, greeting, gents. I've made my own thought spiral drinking game where every time Andy threatens violence on himself or says some variation of, will you just shoot me already, you take a drink. I'm currently passed out in my cubicle. Thanks.
Oh, man. It's like, it's a great email. Is it email or is it from Twitter?
It's a tweet.
It's a great tweet, but then it just reminds me how stupid I am. How messed up I am. I should be killed. You know what I would like to have happen? I would like for you, without telling me, to arrange to have me killed during one of the podcasts. Don't tell me when. Don't say that.
Done. It's already done.
Done. I can't see you in a Dateline like... I would like to see either one of us in a Dateline scene where we're being in bed, and there's no... I would look so guilty.
Is Dateline like a game show? If you know someone involved with the production, you're not allowed on it.
That would be the nightmare, is if Josh Mankiewicz, someone that we were on Twitter with, all of a sudden had no problem accusing me of killing my wife.
We would do the interview about you at the Palm.
What's the Palm? How come I can't?
It's a steak house.
Oh, that's right.
Chris Woods says, during your recent time in Louisiana, did either of you seek to place a voodoo hex on anyone or have one removed from your persons? Also, who would earn the most beads during Mardi Gras, Andy or Josh? For sure Andy would, because he'll dance in front of people if he's nervous.
I will dance. Yeah. The thing I don't like about the beads, though, is that they're useless, right? I mean, to me, you're going to make a Jew dance, get some bitcoins going, something real.
No, you can trade them. You can redeem them for shame at the end of the night.
I love all of the Mardi Gras traditions. And have we talked about king cake?
We did actually eat some king cake this time around.
Yeah. I don't get it.
No?
I don't get it because the thing is like, I come from Queens where we don't have one tradition a year.
Right. I think there's more than one going on in New Orleans.
I don't know what I'm doing. Here's my problem is I feel like you need a delicious cake, and I did not want a delicious cake to be marred by a choking hazard.
Right. Well, this wasn't. The baby was on the outside. One of the traditions of the New Orleans king cake, which is this sort of cinnamon roll like round cake with the Mardi Gras colors frosted onto it.
Right.
Traditionally served with a little baby figurine in it, and whoever gets the baby has to bring king cake to the next event.
Oh, because is the thing that it's a new year they're bringing in, or is it or they're getting out the bad spirits? What is the idea behind Mardi Gras?
It's cake. Oh, what?
I thought it was
What's
a Mardi Gras.
What's the idea behind
thing.
Mardi Gras? Mardi Gras means Fat Tuesday.
I know
it's
means
based on Lent. It's the beginning of Lent. It's the last thing before Lent, before Ash Wednesday.
When I hear a Jew use Lent, it doesn't sound right to me. I bet you, if I really had to put your pedal to the metal.
You just don't want me to say lender.
Yeah, and that Murray Lender said, will people associate money with me? Well, then don't call it Murray Lender's Bagels. I'm sorry. That's a joke without a country. Or a reference even. I don't even think anybody could remember at this point Lender's Frozen Bagels. You probably did.
I remember Lender's Bagels, but I don't remember Murray being part of the equation.
Maybe I made that part up.
You might have.
Scientists, they're looking at brains like mine where nothing goes on, and yet I keep yammering.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it, what it causes.
So what's your question about Mardi Gras then?
I thought this was all Mardi Gras based, these kind of things like king cake.
Yes.
Okay, so I just realized, is that like
This is the time leading up to Mardi Gras right now.
Right, so is that considered the new baby? Is it the new phase of life or something? Because I know doesn't come on December 31st.
Maybe, because it's a spring holiday. Maybe it has that connotation, or maybe it's just a fucking weird thing.
Did anyone ever send in on America's Funniest Videos just someone like me with just stupid, ridiculous things that go nowhere, and said, look at this tape of my friend sounding like an idiot? Did you get stuff like that? Or did I have to have a physical component?
Well, they sent it into America's Funniest People, and then they passed it down.
I don't know. I don't know names of things. And that show's not even on anymore, right?
America's Funniest People?
Yeah.
No, not for years.
And wasn't that a Dave Coulier joint?
Dave, yeah. Same company, though.
Well, that's more like a real, That's Fantastic. Did you ever watch That's Fantastic?
That's Incredible? You mean?
Did you see when Yul Hauser took over That's Incredible?
That's fantastic. Welcome to That's Incredible. It's fantastic to be here.
Thanks for hosting the show, Yul.
Fran Tarkington wasn't that far off from Yul Hauser.
He wasn't as up-tempo.
No, he wasn't. Except in a 2-minute offense.
The thing is, like, when you think about these shows, like, to me, we used to make fun of Wham. Wham, wake me up before, and then we would make fun of Up With People.
Yeah.
Those are not valid references anymore.
No. Up With People especially has not aged well.
Or how about this? Didn't you used to think
no one ever actually saw Up With People. People made the reference, but no one actually ever saw Up With People.
Well, what was it on that they first had it?
Exactly.
What was it?
Exactly.
But what was the name of the show?
I know.
Well, the thing with Wham that was confusing was I thought it was like an anti-choice thing because it was Choose Life. They would wear shirts that say Choose Life.
Yeah.
And that was just what happened. And I like I love George Michaels. I actually do. I don't have any. But why would there be a Wham? And how would you avoid it. I don't
Wow.
understand boy groups or girl. I don't understand them. I don't remember the only ones that we did. We have that when we were kids. Has it always been?
Yeah, they were
Like
all
it's-
boy groups.
Well, like there's always like a Sean, this person. They're all just
John,
heartthrobs.
Paul, George, Ringo.
No, Davy Jones was a heartthrob.
Right. But they were based on the Beatles.
Right, but who else was a heartthrob when we were growing up? David Cassidy.
David Cassidy, Sean Cassidy,
Sean
subsequently.
Cassidy.
Keith, Cliff Richards.
Yeah. Yeah, but Cliff Richards would argue with you. He'd say, hey, look, mate. Is he British?
Yeah,
Look, mate, I was the real deal.
sure. There you go.
And we'll be back with Andy is obviously losing steam, so he's just trying to cherry pick from various observations.
Jim Meehan
says,
wow, saved you again.
you did save me.
If cell phones would eliminate a lot of plot points in movies, does my refusal to get one make life more dramatic or just more annoying to my friends?
All I can think of now is why does Jim Meehan not have a cell phone? I'm always fascinated. I know a couple people don't. One is the comic Brent Weinbach.
Right,
He does not have a cell phone, and he's very kind of eccentric,
right.
and so you can see why he doesn't. But I think but why doesn't? And Bill Murray has a 1-800 number.
Right. I
But-
bet he also has a cell phone.
Yeah, all I think of is why. What's his hesitation with the cell phone?
I don't know. Some people have a radiation issue. Some people have a privacy issue.
Oh.
Some people are Luddites.
Or who?
Luddites.
Luddites.
Yes.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Luddites, however.
I know what you meant. I mean, I know what I meant, and I know what you were saying.
But yes, it's really, at this day and age, it's very annoying to your friends that you don't have a cell phone. In fact, you may have lost friends because of it, but you wouldn't know it.
Also, friends of yours could have passed away when they're trying to call you for the help to get
Right.
911.
And that's what Andy was thinking. If you don't have a cell phone, how do you get bad news?
I go to the public library. That's what I want, bad news.
Nathan Briggs wants to know, do you guys have an opinion on the band Savoy Brown?
I didn't know there was a band named Savoy Brown.
Okay, so I think we're...
What, do you know that there
I
is?
did know there's a band named Savoy Brown. I don't know their music, though.
I
I
thought
have a bunch of records my in-laws gave me, and they stood out as a roots rock band. Also, thanks for the tip on Los Lobos. I found How Will the Wolf Survive at my neighborhood record store.
you cannot go wrong with anything by Los Lobos. They are a seminal band, whatever that means. And nobody sings better than David. I don't know why I have to phrase things with hyperbole, but nobody sings better than David Hidalgo, and nobody writes better songs than those guys. They're unbelievable.
Wow.
Thank you.
Chaotic Nude Troll says, not a super deep question, but who are your favorite SCTV characters?
Well, I love Bobby Bittman.
Bobby Bittman's very funny. I loved Count Floyd.
Count Floyd is so classic. Sammy Maudlin.
Sammy Maudlin, for sure.
William B. Williams, which was on the Sammy Maudlin show.
Right.
Andrea, is that her name? Andrea?
Martin.
She had a couple of classic.
Well, she had like the sort of Edith Prickly.
Yeah.
And
Catherine O'Hara would do with Lola,
Lola
Heatherton.
Heatherton.
Everything. I mean, I liked everything on that
Johnny
show.
Fontaine, was that his name? No, Johnny LaFontaine. What was the John Candy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the Schmangy brothers.
Yeah, gotta love the Schmeck.
I'm Stan Schmangy.
Cabbage rolls and coffee. Good. Hi, Yash. Hi, Stan.
You know, I always think is that a thing you would have only seen in Canada? A thing like that, or it could have been anywhere? On like a public
Could have been
access station?
Wisconsin.
Is that where it was? No.
No, it could have been just because of the polka thing,
Polka is the worst.
or Pennsylvania.
There's no good way to sell polka music. Like, oh, you have to hear it with there's no argument. I heard a good group, though. I played with the Milk Carton Kids last night.
Yeah,
They were outstanding. And then, again, with Aparna. And then there was other music. It was very interesting. They had a microphone where the microphone picked up the guitar in this one act, picked up her guitar and her voice, and she was standing back from it.
oh yeah.
So I don't know if that's like an omnidirectional. I don't know if it's a Neumann.
You're a Neumann.
Am I a Neumanning you?
At Demon's Home says, what's your favorite part of that movie? Meaning the swimmer, which you referred to in the previous tweet. Did you have a favorite?
I would say I liked all the scenes where there were where people were acting oddly.
Yeah.
Like there's one where they're all outside in the pool, but almost everything was on the edge of being too much.
Right.
Nothing stands out. In fact, I may.
Are you talking about the scene where he had built the big sliding dome for his pool, the Dolph Sweet character?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
But I may call you up tomorrow morning, and I might say to you or text you, however you want to be contacted. I might say, I can't remember one scene from that movie.
Right.
And I don't want to put it in the same category of what was the one with Jackie Gleason?
Skidoo.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's like a Skidoo situation, but I'll let you know as time goes along. People really want to know. They want to keep up with how I feel.
I like it. I would say I like it more since I watched it than when I was watching it. Allie Berger wants to know, is Andy relating to the horses on set the same way he relates to Lucky? Is he at least following Jonathan Katz's doctrine that when a horse says nay, that's exactly what he means?
By the way, that's great. Allie Berger is a very talented artist, and he's related to Larry Berger. And son of Ken Berger. I mean, I can't go into too much.
This whole show is Burger Fest.
It's Berger, and but he's right though. I don't know about Jonathan Katz. I was very, very conservative around the horses.
You were, but you weren't actively scared or nervous either.
No, but when
I was
heard
playing it pretty cool with the horses too, just because we were always sort of guests in their home. I had that sort of feeling.
But I was afraid Paula was going to get chewed up because she's a horse person.
She's a horse person. I didn't worry about her.
Right, but I found out later that someone said, watch out for that horse. He violently bites.
Yeah.
If a guy who works with horses all the time says somebody violently bites, that means that they take half your torso off. Something like that. So that's what I was worried about, because if I don't have enough to worry about, why is it so cute to me when a doggy kind of lies on itself? I just think if I could do that, I would never leave the house. I can't curl up on myself. Can you?
No, I can't make a
it's
full.
So cute.
I can't do a full horseshoe. No.
Cats can. And there was a couple of doggies on that ranch who curled up nicely. And then one time that one guy said, and I've been thinking about it every day since then.
You think you have skunk germs?
Oh yeah, I was like, basically, I was like hugging and kissing these dogs. He goes, you be a little careful there. A dog likes to eat skunks.
She's been tearing up some skunks or something like that.
That changes your whole mood.
Yeah. Mad City Architect says, in honor of my home state, Wisconsin, Madison to be specific, if you were a cheese, what cheese would you be?
I would be. What would you be?
I'd either be a very sharp cheddar, or I wouldn't mind having a rind also. So maybe a brie or a camembert.
I would like to be something like camembert or something French.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of being pretentious.
Crusty on the outside, soft and slightly sour on the inside.
You know, if I'm already putting myself down, you adding on could be considered piling on.
I prefer to think of it as piling on.
All right, I'm just saying.
I don't like math.
This looks like, and people can't see this, but this is like it looks like the pepper mill. You know what I mean? Like where they have those sunken tables.
What? Okay.
Have you ever been to the pepper mill?
No.
They're so kind of cheesy. They're in Vegas, and there's some other places too. I can't believe you know what I'm talking about. Though,
Is it
right?
like a fondue restaurant or something?
No, it's like an old style. It looks like a grotto type of thing with roaring fires.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Someone send a photo to Josh in general.
Okay. Mad City Architect also wants to know, Andy, do you have any OCD rituals you do before the show?
I have nothing like what that is saying, because I don't have anything ritualized. You could say that the reason why I'm consistently 5 or more minutes late is because of OCD, but it's nothing specific.
Right.
In other words, now I could be on time. Let me check 7 things again.
Right.
But there's no pre-show rituals that would be Like where were we? Were you there with me when someone threw the salt over their right shoulder?
I don't think so.
And it was somewhere, and I think it was on a plane.
Yeah.
And then that I didn't know that you throw it over your
If you spill it, you throw it over your shoulder.
over your left shoulder
I guess.
or something. And one time I did that, and I blinded a diner at it.
Huh?
By the way, I just want to let you know, I have points in the open table program. I'm not bragging.
Wow. Kenny Loggins III says, "Howdy, fellas. Did Carlos Mencia ever steal any of your jokes? I remember that him and Dane Cook got busted joke stealing around the same time, which was awesome."
Well, I never like to comment on these things. I'm always afraid. I don't like to comment on Carlos Mencia because he seems like one of those guys who'll try and beat you up or something.
Wow.
This is what will prevent. I would never compare myself to Lenny Bruce or to anybody significant. But that's how you know. I do nothing but increase the sense that I'm a coward when and the way I answer those type of things.
No, that was really shining a light on it that time. Mark Tom, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no,
Did you have more? Really?
Not more. No, I did have more,
Okay.
but I can neither remember it
Right, okay.
nor tell you that it was good.
Perfect. Mark Thompson says, Josh, considering it's going to be 25 to 30 below zero here in the Twin Cities, why in God's name do I still live here?
That's a good point.
There's a lot to chew on. In that
No, you
question.
can't do that because many. Let me tell you, people.
No, I love it, but then again, I don't still live there.
And you're not going there soon.
I'm going there. No, I'm going there next month, actually.
Is that when you're taping the thing?
No, I'm going to go and do some guest sets at Acme, though, to try work on some new stuff before the album.
You know what? You should do your special also as a Second Life thing at the same time.
I think I should. I could because it's an album, not a special. So
Stop saying that. It's obvious that every time we talk about it, I don't know what you're doing.
I know,
But it's an album.
That's true. Pretty much everything I'm doing.
Look, my therapist says I'm too interested in other people. What if I just could start lying? Look, my therapist says I need more Andy Kindler time.
Right. Insist that people talk about you.
Yes.
Chris Clayton says, Chris Creighton says, love the podcast. Which towns you enjoy performing in the most? Are some better for comedy than others? Any chance for a show in New Orleans? Well, we were just in New Orleans, but we didn't do a show. But we
Right.
were at the fairground racetrack.
We were close.
And at your fine airport. But I don't know. I mean, Minneapolis is clearly my very favorite
That's your-
town. I like Chicago a lot.
I like Chicago a lot.
I like, I've had good shows in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
with you on that.
Portland.
Portland's great. I like Seattle. Even though I haven't had great shows up there. I mean, actually I have. Recently I've had fun shows up there.
Yeah.
Any city that's where you could, and then
I've had good shows in Philly.
I had only one good show. It was the last shows I did in Philly. That broke the spell.
Yeah.
The Philly spell, which was negative. Yeah, but I always have to.
You like Austin, right?
I love Austin.
I've done a couple of shows there with Cinematic, but
I have to say that everything is different because had a lot of work during a time period where comedy club crowds became frightening, and you couldn't. Every town could be like when Dice Clay was big.
right.
Those were tough crowds to
Yeah.
make happy. But now it's different. So now I could see almost any major city having. Oh my God! Is there something kind of a pill I can take?
Well, I mean, there is something to what you were almost saying, which
Yes.
is, I mean, there is because of the internet now.
Yeah.
If you have a big enough following, any city is going to be pretty good for you because your people are coming to the show.
That's true. And also, it is true that because of the way technology is advanced, that any city that's kind of a cool city that you enjoy
Right.
can be a base point.
And
for people.
I can't liken it to. I don't have my own crowds, but like I can when I know Segura's crowds now,
Right.
and I find that there's a consistency to his crowds from city to city in terms of what they'll go with,
That's
which is
interesting.
most anything.
Yeah. Right. A typical Andy Kindler. I'm going to start saying a typical Andy Kindler fan is someone who shops.
18 to 34.
Right. Tech savvy.
Sure.
Cares but doesn't.
And sex savvy.
That we know is true. Oh, I did a thing up there, a podcast with a person who was a sex. It was Moshe Kasher's podcast, and it was a woman who helps people with sexual problems.
Yeah.
Thank God that the not too much of the magnifying glasses on me. Nobody wants to hear old man sex talk.
No, if you're getting the old man weed discount, you're pretty much out of the sex talk realm.
It was not called. How many times do I have to tell you? It was not called the old man's weed discount.
It was the dignified customer. Michelle Wisecarver.
Hi, Michelle. I saw Michelle's question tonight, and I'm such a good listener of the show that I realized I shouldn't be reading this now. This applies to the test show.
Wow,
Question.
you two were tired in Test Show 90. Loved the giggling. Can't wait to see the fiddling horse. Also, Josh, my favorite thing in the MST3K universe is Cinematic Titanic. I've seen Frank Conniff wear CT shirts a few times. Any ideas on how I might procure one? Well, they are long out of print, I'm afraid.
Oh.
But if anyone had any stock, it would be Trace Beaulieu, because he was the one, he and his wife were the ones doing the shipping. But so, maybe hit up Trace if you're going to one of his shows, but I think he may have used them for insulation in his workspace that he built, so who knows?
Well, and the other thing I can vouch for is that we were very tired during that last shoot.
It is true.
If you call it a shoot, I don't know what you call it anymore. It's not a shoot. It's a shoot. You have to have visuals, right?
Sure.
Thank you.
Or weapons.
This is not one of those HBO talking funny shows.
No.
This is like Andy Communicates 101.
Patented Phil wants to know, my longtime significant other and I are finally moving in together. Any tips or suggestions that may prevent us from killing each other? Well, don't kill each other.
Well, I think it's, by the way, I don't know if we pointed this out before, but I love that name. Patented Phil is one of my favorite Twitter handles.
Yeah.
Because it comes from the My Pillow guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just love the idea that the Patented Phil spelled Phil. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to take off.
Yeah.
I think I will say what my therapist says to me, that the point of relationships is to learn empathy. And if you keep that in mind, it will help. Because I can vouch for myself, I'm a very annoying person. Small doses, sure, it's not that good then, but 24/7, it's not easy. And as much as you can be nice to yourself and to the other person, I think you have a shot with it. And that's why I'm sorry for giving sincere advice.
No, and I think it calls for sincere advice. I think it just expanding on that, it's pick your fights is, it's like there will be lots of things that annoy you. But,
right.
But very few of them are important, and you have to make a decision to go, this isn't going to be a thing that I'm constantly going to dwell on. This is just a fact of life that I can either live with or not.
And plus, I said this many times, my wife and I didn't live together till we had decided to get married, so like for the year before. So that made it, I think, a little bit better, and just in terms of, I can't even really say why. But if you're not used to living with someone that you're in love with, I think that can be just hard on its own, no matter when that starts. That's an adjustment.
Well, you just have to try to make things easier for the other person.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Oh, yeah. And then the other thing that Susan and I are always having trouble with, because it's a hard thing to figure out, is how to...
And don't think of compromises as defeats.
Even though they are... No, that's true. No, compromises... Well, I used to always be like, oh, I have to do this. I have to... Now I realize, no, I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have... Whatever the thing that I'm doing that's annoying is usually like, we stop yelling or you stop... whatever the thing is. My thing is, I'm somebody who I don't want a man cave. I want something for a man who caves a lot. Huh? I got a little of that from the Trump weekend. He caves. So, it's good, but it's very exciting. These are going to be exciting times. Never listen to the podcast.
Nice pep talk.
Don't listen to the podcast together.
Right.
Also, get one of those deals. I love them. I have a thing that if my wife doesn't want to hear the TV, I can listen to the TV on my own.
They're called headphones.
You don't have them, do you? You don't have them hooked to your TV, do you?
No.
You're witness, Your Honor.
I don't want to.
Well, mine, but that's what separates my headphones from the... Would it be good if your body could fight off bad jokes like it fights off disease?
No.
Thank you.
Dan March says, Josh and Andy, you have acquired a time machine and baby Hitler is already dead. So now you can each guest star in one classic sitcom or TV drama. Which show and what is your character doing?
Wait, back in Hitler times?
No. Any time in the past.
Oh, I would have liked to have been... I don't know. I would have liked to have been... I don't know. Einstein, but with more kempt hair.
Guest starring on a sitcom?
Oh, that's where I got confused. There were no... what sitcom? You answer it first so I can see how it should be answered.
I might do Dick Van Dyke Show as one of Rob's old army buddies.
I'd like to do Mary Tyler Moore show then as one of the new writer who comes in, Murray's nephew.
All right.
You don't seem impressed by my answers tonight. I'm working hard.
I knew you didn't understand the question until I gave an answer. So, Keith Bush says, "Hey guys, Test Show 90 was awesome. Thank you. Can't wait to see Josh in Portland this spring. That would be Portland, Maine. And also, has Andy seen the Advil commercial with the pogo stick? Has he ever toured as Andy Inflammatory?"
I will add. I would like to add, if I haven't already, I would like to add anti-inflammatory to my list of anti-climactic, antidepressant, anti-social. What was the other part of the question?
He can't wait to see me in Portland.
Oh, okay.
Oh, have you seen the Advil commercial with the pogo stick?
No, I haven't seen that. But I am obsessed with the worst one now that's ever come out is The Beat Goes On.
Right.
It is so terrible for Entresto or Encresto.
Right.
It makes me, I can't even talk about it. Maybe when I'm less angry.
Okay, we'll come back. Put a pin in that.
Zambic.
Jen Kirkman.
JK.
Has a big one for us here.
Are you kidding me?
No,
We're so lucky.
It's a 2 to 3 parter.
All right, baby.
All right, settle in. Now that you're movie stars, I wonder what your decisions be, but also what would your pros and cons be if someone said you can now make $500,000 a year as an indie film actor. You'll never win an award or be hugely famous, but you'll have that steady work. But you won't be able to do stand-up again. Never. Nowhere. Not even a free spot for 5 minutes at the Improv Lab. Nothing. What do you choose, and what is the thought process leading to the choice? I'll take my answer on air, she says. And then she amends it one more time. Sorry for missing words and typos. You get it. And actually, I changed it. It's $250,000 a year, not $500,000. Thanks.
Oh, that makes a difference. Well,
it really does make a difference.
It does make a difference.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was a no-brainer. All I heard was the money that I was being offered.
Okay.
So whatever they want me to do for that.
Right.
I don't care. I would do yard work. But I don't think I'd like never having to get to do stand-up again. I would hate to deprive America of that.
Right.
I do think the idea of being... I used to think when I was a kid, the idea of being an actor is the greatest thing in the world, and
right.
Nothing could be better. But I don't know if that's
And
true.
just earlier this hour, you were spitting on it as a craft, so...
You know, that's how you look at it. I think that... I don't know. There's part of me that says that if you forbid me from doing stand-up, I don't think I'd like that. But I still think the money's so good.
Yeah.
500,000 a year is good.
But 250 would you do?
Yeah, I take it.
You'd still take it? Never
And
just
maybe
say-
I would try a sneak comedy, and if they catch me,
They'd take your money then.
oh, then forget it. What would you do?
I don't know. I'm a little torn about it. I think it's a better deal at 500,000. But
It's a better deal. That's true. 500,000 seems like FU money to me. If you said 500,000 a year,
no, it's still just no thank you money, but it's okay. I mean, I have some questions. Clearly, I have some questions with this scenario. Like
Right.
when you say you make $250,000 to be an indie movie actor, how many movies is that? Because in the indie world, that could be a lot of fucking movies.
yeah. Well, I think she's also creating a hypothetical that
It's a communist model that she's sort of
True.
creating. Like if it's like that's the salary for indie movie actor. I don't know. I'm torn about it because it does feel, part of me says, well, 32 years in, doing something completely new like that going forward has an appeal. And it's a sort of ever-changing thing,
right.
There's more variety to acting roles than there is to stand-up gigs.
There might be. What if there isn't? What if it's $500,000 a year to do Hallmark, or $250,000 a year to do Hallmark style movies?
Well, she's saying indie films, though.
Yeah, but indie films, she's assuming they're good. I don't feel good. No, I think that
I don't care about the hugely famous part. I don't care about the awards part. That part has no allure to that's not a downside when in this scenario that she's talking about.
All right. Well, here's the thing. When you say awards part, I agree with you about that.
Yeah.
But the hugely famous part gets into the ego of wanting to be known for being funny.
Yeah.
I would, if you said to me, Andy, would you love, wouldn't you be happy if you were a household name? I don't think I really would be happy to be a household name, but I do get a rush out of people laughing, however many there are.
But
that's recognition.
right.
So I don't want to be. I can't toil in obscurity. I want people to know.
No, but hugely famous. I mean, there's plenty of people in indie films,
Yeah.
who are well known but not hugely famous.
If you ask somebody, would you want to be hugely famous? You're almost asking them,
like,
would you want
There's
to be?
only a segment of people who knew who Paul Bartel was or something.
Yeah, who's Paul Bartel?
Like Eating Raoul, he did. And
Oh,
he was,
I don't know.
70s and 80s indie film person who had, a big name.
sometimes
Like
he's
I'd be fine being recognized within the indie world.
right.
I don't need, but, I would miss stand-up a lot. But I could see myself working around, I could see myself doing a Ray Sharkey idol maker sort of project with another, I might find an actor and write him an act.
Oh, I see. You
So I
would get
still-
around it.
So I would still have that sort of, does this joke work satisfaction?
I'm beginning to think now that I think about it, it is a hypothetical question.
Yes, it is. But she wanted our thought process.
Right, but I mean-
that was baked in.
I see, I'm done answering the question. You're changing clothes. You have an abacus out. You're reading from the Torah.
All right, I'm going to start going faster now because you're starting.
I
to
thought we
annoy-
were
you're
done.
starting annoying me.
Oh, are you telling me okay, you're saying you're going slow now? I don't know what I'm saying.
Carla Max shows us a picture of Eddie Money and Huell Hauser and says, "Where does this photo of Eddie Money and Huell Hauser taken? And why is Huell so down and happy?" Well, I imagine since there's two of them that it's paradise, and I would also say he's happy because he's Huell Hauser. Self-evident.
Is it a real picture?
Yes.
That's cool. Maybe he emceed. Did he MC an Eddie Money concert?
I don't know, but it would be fantastic.
Right, but Eddie Money he doesn't sound like Huell Hauser, does he? Is there supposed to be?
No, he's gravelly.
Ow, my ears are itchy. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
It's almost like if I continue this way, I think you're going to have to bring me to a trainer or something.
I'm going to have to bring you to a home.
Bring me to the home.
Randy Denton
Yeah, sorry.
says,
Hi, Randy. I know Randy.
more important 1991 cultural moment. Seattle band Nirvana releases the song Smells Like Teen Spirit on the LP Nevermind and enjoys national success. Or Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman, is arrested in Florida movie theater for indecent exposure.
I can't get excited about that. I mean, is it like, what's my favorite memory?
More important 1991 cultural moment is the question.
Oh, obviously, I don't support negative. I have felt bad for Pee Wee Herman. But also, the guy Nirvana died. And that wasn't fun either.
I don't know. Nirvana's a more important cultural moment.
Sure.
You know.
The other is
Because Pee
not.
Wee Herman recovered, but rock and roll never did.
Right. And Pee Wee Herman, that really was a non-moment. I guess I'm arguing. I found a big pen in your couch.
Wow. Good story.
No, it's a real thing that happened.
Oh. Raymond T. Jacques basically put out a big thank you to you for your support of his GoFundMe.
I'm very happy that I could be a part of that, and I hope he's close. I think he is getting close.
It's the end of the world as we know it. Says, hi, guys. Since it's Test Show 91, can Andy remember what he was doing in 1991? Love the show.
I do remember what I did in 91 because I think 91 was also the first Persian Gulf War.
Yes.
I think it was the best of times and the worst of times. I remember starting to get more work as a stand-up, but then it was kind of depressing time period. The George Herbert Walker Bush years were a little depressing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They were all good. I mean, when you look back at things.
That was my most roady year. That was the year before I moved out here. So I did like 40 weeks on the road that year. And I remember the Gulf War through hotel TVs and condo TVs.
I think it was kind of I would say it's a kind of a magic time in a way. Because there was no the Clinton stuff hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It's not a magic time. I think I need to watch, you know what? I need to watch some more CNN studies of various decades.
Parush from India says, impression request, Governor Gary Johnson meets Huell Hauser for a geography off.
I don't know what Gary Johnson sounds like.
No one does.
Yeah.
Even Gary Johnson questions.
Because he didn't know
sounds
where Kandahar was or whatever. He didn't know where there was the big thing. And no, that's right. He goes, what? He said, what's the name of the thing in Syria? He goes, what? And he said the name of the town.
Was it Benghazi or something? Was it?
No, Benghazi was with Hillary Clinton. This was more like
I remember the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah. He's adult.
He kind of is adult.
Nick Kosei says, what do you two think of the notion that the objective of stand-up comedians is to reveal truths on stage? I always just assumed it was about making people laugh. Or is that just something that is said when a comedian is in hot water for a controversial joke? Well, that's a very snarky question, I think. It's coming from a very cynical place. But, you know, I'm of two minds of that. I think as the comic, yeah, that's always what you're going for. That's
the joke.
Is the truth. Is the joke based on the truth? I don't think unfunny truth is an objective of stand-up. But the best laughs are the ones that are fucking cutting and are revealing something to people as they laugh about it.
Right. But like, for example, my friend Ed Krasnick's joke, which is a non sequitur, is like he's watching the Boston Red Sox play, and Carl Yastrzemski hits a home run, and he's rounding the bases. He sees his father crying. He goes, Dad, why? And because Carl Yastrzemski is his hero. Dad, why are you crying? He goes, because I'm trapped in a marriage I don't understand. That's like one of my favorite jokes. But beyond saying it's a non sequitur, it's not funny because it's a non sequitur.
Right.
It's just so hilarious.
Yeah.
I know I didn't deliver it that well.
No, or contextualize it all that well. But
well, what are you winning awards for contextualizing?
But I mean, I think your thing is all about the truth. It's just you do it between the jokes.
That's
your
true.
jokes are based completely not in reality, and then every comment about how it's going and what you're putting out and what you think people are thinking about you is the truth stuff.
Right. I agree with you. I would say the truth as separate from that what you're saying is true.
Right.
It's like Stephen
truth
Wright.
can come out in subtext as well.
Yes.
But ultimately, as any kind of a writer or any kind of a comedian, I mean, not universally. There's some people who don't give a shit about the nutrition or content of their thing, and I don't.
That's true. Yeah.
When you say about it being the truth, it's you're saying it derisively, but and there are comics who, even Bill Hicks was arrogant in his presentation of the truth to people.
Right. Right.
In fact, that was sort of part of his character.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't think lecturing people is the point. I don't think educating people is the point. But I do think striking a universal note with people is the point, and nothing's more universal than the truth.
Right. And the only caveat, if it is a caveat, is that to me, when Lenny Bruce said, I'm a comedian, I'm not a comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce, I think he was saying that he's giving himself permission to say whatever he wants on stage. So, like, if you were going to say something that wasn't funny but it's interesting, I think you have I think you have a right to do that.
Right.
So it doesn't have to literally be the truth. It could just be wordplay or anything. But I can tell I'm losing steam for my argument. There has to be something real. All the great comics that you like, there's something like cuts through about them. Right. But do you know what? I can't say why I like to be doubled over in laughter.
Right.
Like what specifically we're going to laugh about, like al fresco.
Well, and I also think that in this question, truths, in quotes, as it's asked, is really referring to opinions, and I think
yes,
what I'm talking about is truths, that's what you're exposing is human condition truths, not human opinion truths.
Right. And we would both agree that probably there's nothing like, because I reject in general the fine art thing, or like this is better comedy because it's about this. If it makes you laugh and it's true, like Bill Bauer, it makes you laugh. It's like he's truly hilarious, but it doesn't have to be making.
No, I don't think it's the topics themselves that elevate the comedy by any means,
Yeah.
Unless it's, people who are bringing completely, I think if you bring completely new topics to the table, then that does elevate the art, but it doesn't have to, that's not based on seriousness.
No, that's true. But what you're also saying is like the progression of stand up, like in our lifetime and our whatever lives before us, you just saw people inhabit different ways of, I don't know what I'm saying, different ways of delivering it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what my point is.
Okay, then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Derek Faraci says, has Andy watched the cinematic Titanic set? If not, can I have it? I already own a few of them, but I'd love a full set.
I haven't watched it, so I think I got to give it back. Because I really think this thing...
Well, I'm not sending it to Derek Faraci, so you don't have to, really.
I could send it to him.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe I'll send it.
Make that arrangement on the side.
Here's the problem.
Okay.
And this has nothing to do with the cinematic Titanic. But I am facing things that at some point something has to give with me saving everything. You know what I mean? I'm living in a world where I still can't get rid of some stuff. Mm-hmm. A shirt for 15 years.
Right.
Not exactly the topic of what the original question was.
Marie Kondo's on your ass now.
What's that?
And Marie Kondo's on your ass now.
Who's Marie Kondo?
The neatness person on Netflix.
I didn't realize her last name. I thought it was like you were talking Marie Kondo, head of the Condo Association.
No, you're thinking of Murray Kondo.
Murray Kondo.
King of Miami Beach real estate.
One thing I do miss from our trip was, have you been in a wreck? Are you injured?
Yes.
Are you injured now? Literally
every
highway.
7 feet.
A highway covered with
personal injury attorney billboards. Yes.
Yeah, competing.
G-Dub 1972 says, speaking of the fiddling horse, and everyone is, either of you have any horse riding stories or incidents? Even a good day out the track? Shit, I'll even settle for a favorite Dick Francis book. Work with me here.
Well, I've told the stories of the most horrible experience in my life was falling off of a horse, where it was adjusted for
Inflation.
Western saddle,
Okay.
which means your legs are straight. But I was riding English saddle, which means your legs are, compressed or whatever you want to call it. That looks like you're going to project yourself. And so then I went over the front of the horse and landed on my stomach. And the way it feels now is I did not know that my breath would come back.
Yeah.
And it was only due to the great calmness of the guy who, pulled me off the ground and let me know I wasn't dying. So I didn't ride much. I didn't quit immediately, but after that second fall, it was like, no, I don't think so. These things go down like midnight run.
Right. Yeah, I've had mostly good horse experiences. I went to horse camp.
Wow.
For a couple weeks.
When?
When I was like 10. 12. No, 10 probably. And it was day camp. It wasn't stay away with your horse camp.
Right.
But
stay away. I don't think it's stay away, right?
yeah, they call it stay away camp.
Sleep away camp.
No, the parents call it stay away camp.
I'm sorry. I don't know why that made me laugh.
Anyway, so yeah, I've had horse experiences. None of them have been terrible. My horse at camp tried to rub me off on the fence a couple times, but we got past that. And the other strange horse experience was camping on Assateague Island off the coast of Maryland, where the wild horses run and are wandering the island, literal wild ponies of Assateague.
Wow.
Made famous in the children's book Misty of Chincoteague.
I don't know what you're saying.
There's these two islands off the coast where these wild horses live.
Supposedly live.
And they swim back and forth between the islands. And
Are these like mermaid type horses?
yes, Andy. They're things you'd find in your virtual comedy act.
Well, I agree. Well, I sure agree, Josh.
All right, then. Terry Caulfield wants to know, what are your plans? We'll finish with this one.
We're done.
Because you suck.
No, you know what? I was actually thinking, I actually want to rest up to smoke pot.
Okay. Terry Caulfield says, what are your plans for Test Show 100? Well, there are no plans yet, but we have 9 weeks to figure it out.
Oh, we have to do something.
Okay, well, I want you on board then. Otherwise, you're saying you have to do something.
Oh, I really do think 100 is a milestone.
Okay, start thinking.
It's and I don't want you saying, well, let's think about it when they get to 800, 900, 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Both of us
No, I'm saying
die.
put on your thinking cap right now and come up with our extravaganza strategy.
Okay, also, I want to solve my dry mouth between now. If you have questions for us or things, thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. I need you to kill. Do you like to kill? Well, I need you to kill. And get that at IneedYouToKill.com.
Check out Allison's music at AllisonMacLeod.bandcamp.com.
That new song is going to be a new hit.
It's there. That's Allison, Allison, MacLeod, MacLeod.bandcamp.com. And check us out on Getting Dug with High this week.
Yay!
And that's about it.
And also, don't forget to buy my new product, Quip Recruiter. Do you have jokes? Do you want to have quips in everyday conversation? Don't come up with them yourself. Come up with them with Quip Recruiter. That's the best.
Wow, I hate that.